Welcome to the Rainmaker Multiplier on Demand, a podcast for leading financial professionals, or rainmakers, and their teams that offer support for securing a successful future. From marketing help to staffing structure, listen and subscribe for actionable insights from advisors and skilled professionals alike.
Thanks for everyone joining. My name is Kerry Chadoff, Vice President of Marketing. I work with the agency at C2P. And really proud to have this opportunity to talk about video, which is so important in an overall marketing mix. And got two great experts here today that we're going to really understand and be able to articulate the importance of using video in your overall marketing mix, and perhaps why that's so important to them, and even how you judge in terms of a return on investment. So our first barista is Dave Allison. He's the founder and CEO of Allison Wealth Management, president and founding partner of C2P, and also frequent guest of the Coffee Break is Betsy Larson, financial consultant at Special Needs Advanced Planning and Comprehensive Planning Strategies. So welcome, both of you. Thanks for joining. You both have broad financial backgrounds behind which you tap into really specific niche areas. Betsy with special needs, Dave, high net worth, taxation, equity comp. Both of you have a great deal of video content tailored to your audience. So I'm going to start with Betsy. How does video marketing help you convey your strengths and hit your target audience? We'll start with the easy, broad question.
Yeah, I guess I recognized early on that when you Googled anything special needs planning related, it wasn't really easy to digest and informative information out there. So it was actually during COVID that I decided that I needed to get my face out there more. And my main goal was to educate. So I started my YouTube channel, which is all about special needs planning. And I think that I've got like close to 5,000 subscribers now, which is a big deal to me. But they're all there because they want to learn about special needs planning and what they might be able to do for their families and themselves. And I think that it's been a game changer for my business.
Dave, how has video impacted the really value proposition, the defining of your firm, and how does that video help you grow?
Yeah, I think the first thing is that I know for me as a consumer, I'd rather watch a quick video than somebody send me a big long email explaining a concept. And so for me, it's more about like trying to meet our customers in a method of communication that they most prefer. And again, I think like any of us who have used like BombBomb, for example, if Greg Hammer was going to send me a big long email, I'd rather get a little 2-minute video from Greg explaining it versus me having to read the email. And so when we first started our video stuff, I think it was more just to help explain some of these concepts to the people that we were working with in a way that they could quickly consume it. And so like we started all these smaller, shorter videos on things like what is a qualified charitable distribution, or what should you do with your incentive stock? And we were using it a lot to just send out to our prospects, say, hey, before our meeting, watch this quick 3, 4, 5-minute video, because in the meeting, we'll talk about how this specifically applies to your financial situation. So for me, it was just like we started with written blogs. And I think when the kind of world exploded with short form video, when Facebook brought out Reels, when TikTok came to life, when YouTube launched their shorts, like the reality of it is, look at how much traction those platforms have gotten. And it's because consumers want to consume information that way. And so we just felt like it was a necessity, at least for our existing clients. And then what's happened, and we'll talk about our marketing in a little bit, but when you put this stuff out there to the universe, we've started to actually generate right fit calls and leads that are now coming in from those video engagements as well.
Thank you. That's out of the 5,000 subscribers. What have you seen being the most engaging content? So, you started this several years ago when you had 0 subscribers, and now you have 5,000. Has your mentality changed in terms of the content you're producing? Maybe some tips in terms of how do you know what's more engaging, and how has that evolved since the COVID years?
Yeah. So when I first started, what I would do is I would start to Google just like questions that I thought maybe people were asking, what's a special needs trust? I would go and I would find out about how many people were asking that question. I had some, I don't even remember what I used at the time, but I had some sort of a site where I could go and find out what questions are being asked. And my goal was just to provide education on those questions that were being asked. So I started out pretty simple with like, what's an ABLE account? What's a special needs trust? Kind of just giving basic information. And it has changed into where I'm actually getting questions from my clients or from my prospects. And then I'll go out and I'll do a video about that. Or I have actually started utilizing some of C2P stuff. Like I did the five pillars of holistic wealth management, but I changed it to the 6 pillars of special needs planning, and I added special needs planning in there. So I borrow some of the stuff that C2P has now, and it seems to be working out really well for me.
And Dave, how do you come up with your topics? Is it similar in terms of hearing what your clients or what else is going on in your firm? So talk about how you develop your content in terms of the topics.
Yeah, so we've been really kind of focusing on YouTube for about the last year or so. We're not nearly to Betsy's level yet. We're almost to 1,000 subscribers. And really kind of there's 2 areas of focus when it comes to content creation. Number 1 is current events. So when things come out, whether it's tax legislation or a new RMD rule, I typically like to get on and just record a video like that and put a catchy title with it that's going to gain some momentum. Like if I look at our content, when Secure Act 2.0 came out a year ago, I did a video understanding the new Secure Act where I just wrote down on a piece of paper like the top 10 provisions that I thought would impact people. That video's had 36,000 views in the last year. That drove a lot of subscribers. When there was an RMD rule change more recently, I did a video on that. That's had 31,000 views in the last 10 months. I've done a video on bracket bumping Roth conversions. That's had 22,000 views in the last 10 months. And so really kind of there's 2 tranches. For me, it's like new issues that are arising that could impact our clients. The second one is when I sit in a client meeting and I share something with that client and that client has an aha moment that it's valuable, I try to write that down on a little piece of paper to my side and just make a mental note that's something I should create a YouTube video on. So like that's how that bracket bumping Roth conversion video came out. I was just in a client meeting explaining it and I was like, why don't I just do a video on this? And I think that's something that's really easy for all of us to do because every single day we're creating content with the advice and how we're explaining the implementation of that to clients. And so naturally, I think that's a great market. Like, for example, tonight I have a fit call and we do a little pre-screening of the fit calls before I get on it. But I did a video on exchange funds, for example, as a tax efficient means to reduce concentration risk, generally with high net worth executives or founders. And tonight I have a fit call with a guy who founded a tech company. He's about to have an exit. He's going to be in the mid 7 figures. So I don't know what that means. I'll find out tonight, but probably a pretty decent client.
Right.
And that just came from our YouTube video. So he was out there looking for ways to reduce his taxes upon selling his company and came across us and went to our website and booked a right fit call. So I think that like those are the 2 big areas of content creation we focus on.
That's awesome. That's you used a figure about 5,000 subscribers, which is awfully impressive. How do you equate that to interest? So Dave just gave a wonderful example of someone finding a video, which has led to a wonderful opportunity. So how do you view this in terms of a marketing tactic that will drive a positive reward other than you educating the general public about your industry?
So I get a lot of calls from my YouTube channel. A lot of like if I'm getting I get a lot of cold calls of people that just say like, "Hey, I saw your YouTube channel. I've got a grandson that was just born with a disability, and I want to make sure that we're doing some planning for him for the future." Or a new parent who just is Googling, trying to figure out like, what do I do now? And they come across my YouTube videos and they call me. And sometimes it doesn't always work out where maybe they aren't quite ready to do the planning. But I say, you know what, I've got my YouTube channel. That's where all the free education that I can give is. But in the future, like just remember my name, remember that you can come back to me at any time. So that's basically what it is. I think there's a lot of just kind of random people just Googling things, then my videos pop up. I am pushing my videos out whenever I do one to all of my current like list of prospects and clients and things like that. But a lot of the people are just, I think, just coming across my YouTube videos.
So on your YouTube videos, for people that haven't seen or gone to your channel, how promotional are you in your videos of here's my URL, here's my phone number, here's my email, or is that more tucked into the descriptions? Because the descriptions of what you post on is certainly critical for helping you rank well in search. But how are you making it also a strong call to action?
Yeah, so at the end of every single one of my videos, I do make a call to action saying, hey, if you click below to I have got my one calendar link there. So people can go on and just schedule a 20-minute call. It's kind of like my Right Fit call, but it's like they're scheduling their own. And so they can go ahead and schedule a 20-minute phone call with me. And then we talk about whether maybe it's not the best time to start right now, but maybe they're not quite ready for it. But at least we can get a good footing. And then I add them to all of my other, like to my CRM, so that I'm making sure that they're seeing whenever I send out a new email or a new video pops up. And then anytime that, because all of my subscribers are getting alerted whenever I do post a new video, they're seeing all of these. So I'm hopefully staying at top of mind for all of these people.
Excellent. Excellent. Dave, video has certainly evolved over time. I want to make sure that people know that it doesn't have to be the most professionally done. You don't need to be in a studio wearing a suit and tie with all of these lights. So talk a little bit about your equipment and what you found to work. In some cases, it's a desk. Maybe I've seen other successful videos across the board where it's an advisor talking outside. They may be going for a walk. So talk about the authenticity, but at the same time, balancing that with the certain level of professionalism given your target audience.
Yeah, I think you want high quality. For me, it's like microphone. We've all watched videos where the audio sucks and you're just like, it's all you can almost concentrate on. So I think there's some areas to definitely make an investment in. Like, for example, I have this Shure podcasting microphone. I don't know, the thing probably ran $400 or something. It plugs directly into your computer. You certainly don't need to be a tech whiz in order to use it, but I feel like the quality is just so much better. We use just a simple Logitech Brio computer camera that kind of plugs in, just like most of your external cameras. And so, I mean, for us, that's pretty much it. I think the technology you use to record the videos is important. I used to just use Zoom, which is what we're using here. And sometimes I found that the audio video connection would get a little grainy. And so there's really kind of two solutions that we found that are really helpful. And we use Riverside, and that helps produce a lot better quality videos and really helps sync the audio and the video together. Or in a lot of cases, when I'm going to record a video that I want it to really be kind of top notch, I'll actually use my iPhone as the camera. So I have a little tripod. I put my iPhone on it. And then I bought a little kind of lavalier microphone. I don't know, this thing was probably like $20 or $30 on Amazon. It's just like if you were speaking at an event, it clips to your tie, and we'll set something like that up. But honestly, that's much less frequent. I mean, more often I'm just keeping it really simple and I'm going into Riverside just like this setup is right now, and I'm recording it. So like I said, I don't think you need to invest in like a film studio. I mean, in my office, I do have like a little kind of light like that I utilize. It's not positioned correctly right now. I think background is important as well. Like I don't have like a TV on in the background or anything like that. We basically just keep a pretty plain, simple background so that there's not a lot of distractions. But I think those are the key things that are important when you're filming. I mean, if I go back and I look at some of my videos from a year or two ago, they're definitely not high quality, but at the end of the day, like it's just about getting the content out there. I wouldn't worry about like having it all perfected because people are there for the content. They're not there to necessarily critique your video production skills.
Absolutely. Given today's age of TikTok and YouTube videos, people are looking for more natural. They want you to be actually show your personality. And I would agree, be conscientious of your background. Again, I'm a fan of being outside if it suits your needs, or being in a desk and make sure your lighting is good. and you don't have a shadow coming through totally on your right side, and adjust the blinds at a light. I know that we have at C2P a list of recommended equipment as a starting point, and certainly you can reach out to me. We can share that. I know that's in the chat. Betsy, how about yourself? How do you normally record and make yourself look natural and inviting? Any tips for those that haven't gone into video yet? Because I think some people are like, I don't know how to do video. They're stiff and are worried they haven't invested in the right equipment, when in the reality, you don't need a lot of equipment.
Yeah. I have always only ever used my iPhone, and I've got a Yeti microphone. You can't see it with the background, but those are the two things that I use. I have a small little tripod that sometimes I will prop my phone up on that. It's got a little light on it, but even that I don't use all the time. If you go back through my old YouTube videos, you can see the kind of the evolution of me getting a little bit better at it. Like at first I've got a sheet behind me because I was like, I have an ugly background, so I'm just gonna put a sheet up there. But it worked for the time, and I'm a little bit embarrassed about it now, but it got a lot of views, so I'm not gonna take it off of my YouTube channel. People clearly liked it. But yeah, it doesn't have to be difficult. I just stand here exactly where I'm standing today. I record my video, and I don't do my own editing. I do send that off to somebody, but it costs like $30 to get it edited really nicely. But it does not have to be complicated. I say better to just do it and get some good information out there for people than to worry about the production value, really. The sound is important because people won't watch a video if it sounds real bad.
I totally agree. And again, making sure if your phone is across and you have a lavalier, make sure that it's Bluetooth connected, and the voice is so important. And in fact, many of your YouTube videos, frankly, are even being just listened without even watching it, and maybe just listening to the audio. So audio trumps everything else in there. Betsy, the way your content is structured and innovative, it certainly keeps the viewer's attention. And maybe you can kind of talk about how long your videos are and how long you like to keep the videos. But are you seeing anything from any other industries outside of financial services that kind of gives you thought of how to improve your content and attracting more subscribers?
Yeah, so I do like watch other people's videos just to kind of see what is working for people. And you can kind of see, sometimes you can't see how many views were on there, and sometimes you can. But if I do like to watch and just see what other people are doing. For example, I didn't do a lot of like social media video marketing. And then I realized that people that do that, there's a lot more traction on video in your social media than just like a picture with words on it. The algorithm pushes that out way, way more. But those are typically the types of things that I'm looking for. I don't do a ton of research, but I do watch. One thing that I will say, I've noticed that people need to, it's just as a tip for everybody, you need to make sure that you're adding captions to your videos, because the algorithm really does push those out. Plus, it's just good for accessibility. More people will be able to, if somebody is hard of hearing, they'll be able to read it versus just having to listen to it. So that's a big one. I think that I read that it's like the algorithm pushes it out, like there's like an 80% increase on viewership if there's captions or subtitles. So that's just one thing to think about. But those are the types of things that I'm more looking for. I'm looking for accessibility. If somebody who has a disability, what do they need in order to be able to really engage with my content?
You know, there's a question that came through, just because the mic's on Betsy right now. Who do you use for your editing efforts? And then Dave will ask you the same question.
So I've been using a guy that I got on Fiverr. I don't know if you know what Fiverr is, but it's a website where you can get a ton of little different tasks done. I hire somebody from Fiverr to do my YouTube thumbnails and then also to edit it. And I've used the same guy. His name's Christian. He's wonderful. I can get his information to anybody. I'd promote that guy all day long. So I think he does such a fantastic job with my videos. And again, it's like $30 to get a 4 to 8 minute video edited. And I think it looks really nice.
Dave, I know over time you've certainly improved or adjusted your thumbnails. So would you mind kind of explaining what that thumbnail means and the importance of that, and how do you get those done, and who do you use for editing?
Yeah, so a thumbnail is basically like the image on your video, right? And I stole that from Mr. Beast. I mean, Mr. Beast is like the king of thumbnails that gets people's attention. So I just went to Fiverr, just like Betsy did, and I found somebody who can do it. It's like, I think I pay $10 every time I want a new thumbnail. And typically it's like the name of the episode. Most of the time our podcasts are me, Conrad, and David. So it's got our 3 big ugly faces on it and tends to not scare too many people away. But I think you can get some type of thumbnail like that created for pretty cheap. And that's important. I also think like knowing where you're posting these videos and how to post them. So if you think about like the evolution of social media and to Betsy's point, the algorithm, most of these social media companies' algorithms used to work on what's called a social graft. And the social graft would really try to reshare things that your friends and family members and your connections were posting. And it would try to stay in like 1, 2, or 3 degrees of connections. They've all transitioned, though. They're more running on this discovery engine now. And these social media companies aren't sitting there showing you what your friends and family are doing. They're trying to show you stuff that they think is going to be relevant and you're going to find interest in it. They also don't want to promote something that's going to have somebody click off of their platform. And what I mean by that is like, I do a lot of uploading to YouTube, but it's not enough to post a YouTube link on Facebook. Like Facebook's not going to want that because they're competitors. Facebook's not going to promote something that makes somebody leave Facebook and go to YouTube. And so you got to make sure you're uploading those videos to Facebook, for example, because Facebook's discovery engine is going to want to promote that internally. They're not going to want to promote as much a YouTube video. Now, that's not as important for long form content. Like a lot of our podcasts are 40, 50 minutes long. That stuff's not picking up in Facebook's discovery engine yet. I mean, I think it will be as their video engine gets powerful with all these NVIDIA chips they're buying, but it's a huge deal with short form videos. So I would make sure you're uploading them in multiple places, uploading them on Facebook Reels, uploading them on YouTube Shorts. And I think you're going to get a lot more overall traction and activity. So like the thumbnail is important. Where you upload the content is important. I think the length of it, for me, I do them all over the board. Like we use a technology called Opus AI that if we record a podcast, we'll upload it to there and they will actually chop up and caption small bite-sized 1 minute, 2 minute video clips that we can then use in our YouTube Shorts or our Facebook Reels. And so the beauty of all of this, and this is one of the things that I'm going to be turning over to Carrie and the agency team at C2P, because I just don't want to do it anymore, is like you can record one thing and take and make 30, 40 pieces of content out of it. And I think that's like one of the big benefits I'm looking at outsourcing over to the team Carrie has built. So I just think there's so many opportunities from a marketing front. And I know we're kind of running short on time here, but like, I also want to just share, like, even if you're not going to engage on this marketing stuff, maybe you're like, oh, my consumers aren't on there. I was just looking at my YouTube. So on YouTube, you can go to like their analytics and you can see like the age of people watching your videos. So 44% of all of my views are people age 65 plus. 32% are people age 55 to 64. So that's 76% of all of my viewers are age 55 plus. I think those are probably a pretty ripe demographic for most of you, right? Like, and that's some of the content. For me, I'm doing these videos on RMDs and Roth conversion and taxation of retirement income. I would imagine if you looked at Betsy's, hers is going to be a little bit different. She's probably getting a lot of younger parents. Maybe they have a special needs child and they're really concerned about what type of planning they need to do. But the demographic is certainly on there, and it's really interesting some of that data you can get from it. But like I mentioned, even if you're not doing it for marketing, for working with your existing clients to cut the time down to implementation is huge. I mean, I use Loom, L-O-M. That's an app where you can just record your screen share. And when you click on things, it kind of flashes yellow. I mean, I just did an 11-minute video for a client about funding a $2 million annual life insurance policy over a 3-pay. And I just did a 10-minute video where I broke down the fees and expenses associated with that. So like those are the types of things I use to follow up with clients where they can then process the information. Or I recently did a 11-minute video on some estate planning considerations. So I used wealth.com. I uploaded the client's living revocable trust to wealth.com. I used that ester extraction tool. It gave me a few talking points on their revocable trust and some of the things that we saw as an issue with it. I kind of bullet pointed it out in 4 or 5 different slides in a PowerPoint of things that I thought they should consider, including how we would do Roth conversions, how we should start doing annual giving to the children to spend down the taxable estate. This client's going to have a taxable estate issue. And then I talked about how we should start diffusing some of this $9 million IRA and buying a $200,000 a year annual life insurance policy. So I did a quick video like that, customized for this client. I sent it to them and I asked them to watch that video prior to our meeting. And then we did a 1-hour meeting, and that meeting was so much more efficient and effective. And the husband in this case generally manages most of the finances. The wife complimented how amazing it was to have that video because she was able to watch it 2 or 3 times before our meeting. Because sometimes when we're talking fast, it doesn't all register for her, and she was able to process it at her own pace. And then what we'll do from that is I'll record almost a similar video, but I'll eliminate all the client's personal details, and I'll post that to YouTube as a case study. Watch how, in that case, I think we're going to increase their net after-tax inheritance to the children by almost $10 million. Like, that's a pretty catchy YouTube video, I would imagine, for high net worth folks thinking about legacy planning, and especially as we hear more and more about the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act sunsetting. So
awesome. Dave and Betsy, I know we're at the bottom of the hour, and great information. You guys are really some of the leaders in this industry and with C2P in terms of creating outstanding content. I echo Dave and Betsy's comments. You can repurpose a lot of this content. You can always drive your current clients and prospects to videos you've already done. You're a thought expert. You are truly different in the marketplace by creating these videos, and you're gaining business out of it. So I want people to think about this as another tactic that you ought to be considering. It's really a grassroots, and you own it. And this is one way to differentiate yourself from the marketplace.
For those of you who have a team, delegate this too. Like, we have an internal thing that we just started last month where me, Conrad, and David are all accountable for writing 1 blog a month. And then from that blog, we'll each do a video from it. It's just easy to do that. The blog gets you thinking about it and laying it all out, and then you just record a video of what you talk about in the blog. But if you have 2, 3, 4 advisors on your team, just have them each do a piece of content a month. And you'll see, like, for us, that'll be 3 to 6 new pieces of content every single month, just from each of us doing 1 blog. So,
and it goes the other way also. There is new technology that allows you to do a video that you can pop in, and then it will spit out a blog for you. So it actually, where technology is going to save you an incredible amount of time. So it goes both ways. So
that's great.
Thank you, everybody, and have a great rest of your week.
Thanks for tuning in. This podcast was brought to you by C2P, an organization whose purpose is to educate, train, grow, and support holistic financial advisors so families can achieve true prosperity. Never miss an episode by subscribing now to discover new resources and strategies. Visit C2PEnterprises.com to learn how we can help scale and secure your business. At the time of delivery and any subsequent publishing, information was deemed reliable, but is subject to change by the time of listening or viewing. The contents of this piece include options and projections of C2P, are subject to change, and are for informational purposes only. The information provided in this presentation is not intended to be individual investment, tax, or legal advice.